Well, congratulations. Tennessee takes down arch rival Kentucky for the second time this year, advances on to the SEC tournament final against Texas A&M. We'll look back at the win against Kentucky. We'll look forward at what's to come from the Cinderella team. This is your post-game edition of Locked On Vols.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
69, nice, to 62, the final score, Tennessee over Kentucky. Welcome into it. This is your post-game podcast. I'm your host, Eric Kane. You guys know how it works. Hopefully you tuned in last night to hear me recap briefly Mississippi State win, but a little shorter version of the podcast, about 15 minutes long, two little segments here, and we'll get you out the door. My plan is to do one at the end of every single game, and now that we know Tennessee is advancing on, I will do it again tomorrow against Texas A&M, and what could be the first tournament title for the University of Tennessee, conference tournament title, since 1979. Fun fact, Burt Bertelkamp played on that 1979 squad, so it would be money indeed, right? 69-62. This game was everything that normally is a Kentucky-Tennessee basketball game. It was rough. There were fouls all over the place. There were some atrocious calls there. First of all, let's begin this podcast. Let's give it up. Let's give it up once again for the man that everybody tuned in to see. Everybody dialed in the radios to hear. Everybody attended the arena in Tampa Bay to watch. That would be Mr. Adams, Mr. Pat Adams. Give it up. That clown show continues to be employed. And I tweeted this out, and I hope you guys know this and you respect me for this. I am as unbiased as they come. When Tennessee does well, I'm happy because I'm happy for you. I'm also happy because it's good for business. I said this the last time Tennessee beat Kentucky. When Tennessee is doing poorly or not coming up to the standard, I'm critical. That's how I roll. That's how I do my shows. And I feel like you guys like that, unbiased opinions and everything. So I say opinion, sure, some is opinions, but I always bring facts to the table. But I couldn't sit there and watch that last couple minutes of the basketball game and not just be overwhelmed with some anger here. I mean, Pat Adams, not just to Tennessee, it always feels like to Tennessee, but to other schools as well. It is incredible that he continues to be employed year after year. I would be so intrigued to see his report card, to see his progress report. I mean, surely to goodness, something's got to be out there, right? It's not public record, I know, but my goodness, I want to see his progress report. I want to see what he's good at. I want to see what he's bad at, what his deficiencies are, because when there is ever a critical moment in a basketball game, especially when it feels like when Tennessee's in that basketball game, Pat Adams has to ruin the moment. That foul call on Santiago Vescovi was complete and utter bullcrap. Complete, and I'm going to get to the game here. Tennessee won. Okay, I know you're happy, but just let me have my moment here. Complete and utter bullcrap. Okay, he got down that rebound. He is hammered over the top tomahawk style. You can't tomahawk chop anymore, right? He was doing that to the shoulder. He comes back and sure, his contact makes, I forgot who the defender was, makes some clear his shoulder makes contact with the guy's face and he went down. It wasn't a flop. It looked legit to me. Sure. But he got drilled on the shoulder before that. And then 55 comes over and Wire just comes over and slaps him on the back. I mean, and they call that on Santiago Vescovi. Just ridiculous. So once again, let's all give it up for the man himself. We all tune in to watch him every single basketball game. His name is Pat Adams. So congratulations there, Pat Adams. You are once again the story that we do not want to be talking about. But let's get on to the game. 69-62, Tennessee wins. Jumped out to a fantastic start. Had a 10-point lead early in that first half and was looking really, really good. You had Josiah-Jordan James that had a couple three-pointers in that early half going. Kennedy Chandler was pacing them as well. Great to see him back there. Looks like he iced all night long, stemmed. I had a good shoot around this morning with that ankle. Feared the worst because, again, you run it on pure adrenaline last night in that win over Mississippi State. Came back, and he was fantastic. 19 total points for Kennedy Chandler, 8 of 16 from the field, only 1 3-pointer. His driving to the lane and floating it up was awesome. 2 assists, 3 rebounds. He was just marvelous on Saturday against Kentucky. And he always shows up in Tennessee's biggest games, it feels like. Not early on in the season for the first couple, because, again, I think he was still finding his way. But the 18-year-old from Memphis is just showing out right now. Josiah-Jordan James, like I mentioned, a couple of quick threes there in the first half, looked fantastic. 3 of 4, or 3 of 8 from the field, 2 of 4 from three-point range. He had 10 points. He had 4 rebounds. He had 3 assists. He had 4 fouls as well. Josiah, another big reason why Tennessee's winning big-time games. I had a buddy reach out to me, quick sidebar. Alex Abernathy listens to the show, big supporter. Also, he hosts a fantastic podcast and does a radio show every single night. I'll link his show in the show notes here on the audio section. Go check it out. But he said, hey, is it just me or the way Tennessee's playing here right now, the way Tennessee's playing lately, I feel like Tennessee's the Final Four team. And I said, I agree. The ceiling is a Final Four team. It'd be foolish to pick against Tennessee right now, even away from Thompson, Bowling Arena, because they're playing so well. You know what you're going to get from Santiago Vescovi. He's consistent as ever. You know what you're going to get from Kennedy Chandler. He's playing out of his mind. For Tennessee to be a Final Four team, Josiah-Jordan James has to continue to score the ball efficiently. And the combination of Adu, Brandon Huntley-Hatfield, Uros, and Fulke, all 4 of them have to dominate the boards when they're in the basketball game. You got to win. You got to win the board game. Got to, and give yourself second chance opportunities. So I thought that was kind of neat. But nonetheless, Kennedy Chandler, 19 points, awesome. James, 10 points. Fantastic, especially in that first half. You had 11 points from Zakai Ziegler. Most of those coming in the second half. Ford Ziegler had some really, really great clutch plays for Ziegler. All 11 points came in the second half. Picked up a couple critical fouls. Had a nice offensive rebound as well. Man, there's no fear for Zakai Ziegler. So 3 players scored in double figures for the Volunteers. Vescovi added 9 points. He had 5 rebounds and 3 assists. Brandon Huntley-Hatfield continuing to play well. 22 minutes, 8 points, 6 rebounds, 8 rebounds for Uros Plavsic. He was all over the place, but 6 points and 8 rebounds. I will take that from Uros every single day of the week. Fulkerson, 3-3. Not a whole lot. Not a big storyline in this game. Adu, he had 1.1 rebound in only 9 minutes. So Brandon Huntley-Hatfield's playing really, really good basketball right now, and that is really, really good to see. So Tennessee overall, 44% from the field, 40% from long range. It was 6 of 15 from long range, 17 to 25 from the charity stripe. Again, that's not great. You're winning these games, but some point that clock's going to strike midnight, right? It's already got them a couple of times this year. You've got to hit your free throws. Only 13 turnovers for the University of Tennessee in this basketball game. That was really good. 10 turnovers for Kentucky. Tennessee had 10 points off those 10 turnovers. Tennessee lost the rebounding battle, which is kind of weird because normally the team that wins the rebounding battle in this series, especially the last 5 games, wins the basketball game. But Tennessee lost the rebounding battle 43-38, but was able to, haul in 8 offensive rebounds. Here's something interesting too. Kentucky had 16 offensive rebounds. 16 offensive rebounds, scored 10 points off those 16 offensive rebounds and second chance opportunities. That's not taking advantage of those 16 offensive rebounds because Sheboy is going to get rebound after rebound after rebound. He finished with 11, but you had 6 from Wheeler. Washington Jr. had 6. Brooks had 6. You had, again, 11 from Sheboy. This team rebounds the ball very, very well. War had 6 as well. But Tennessee able to hold them off late, control the basketball, hit its free throws towards the end, which was big, and able to control this basketball game. 11 assists for the University of Tennessee compared to only 13 turnovers. So Tennessee did fantastic in this game, grabbed the lead early on, didn't relinquish it. It got it up to, I believe, 13 at one point. Let's see. I believe actually largest lead 14. Yeah, 14 with about 9 minutes left to go. Had an 8-0 run, kind of helping with that. Kentucky got back into it. A 7-0 run of themselves. They were 3 of 3 from the field during that stretch. Cut it to 5 at 63-58. Cut it to 3 moments later, 65-62, with 50 seconds left in the ball game. Tennessee during that stretch had no field goals in the last 2 minutes and 37 seconds. Then you had that awesome offensive rebound from Vescovi. He made one of his 2 free throws to, you want to hit both, but to give Tennessee back a little bit more of a cushion. Then that absolute bullcrap offensive foul called on Vescovi. Nonetheless, Tennessee gets a stop. Zakai Ziegler gets a key defensive rebound, goes to the charity stripe. That's all she wrote. 69-62, Tennessee wins over Kentucky. What's this mean? Well, That's another top 5 win for the University of Tennessee. Twice it's been on Kentucky's accord. Kentucky's ranked number 5 in the country right now, so check that off. Tennessee has now won 7 of the last 12 against Kentucky. It's not been great in Rupp Arena, but overall in the series, Tennessee has won 7 of the last 12 against the Wildcats. And 2 of the 3 meetings this year, Tennessee has taken down Kentucky. Rick Barnes and John Calipari are great friends. You know Rick Barnes really, really likes this. So Tennessee, 69-62. Pat Adams is a clown. It doesn't matter. The Volunteers are going on to the conference tournament title game for the first time since the year of 2019 when Tennessee came up short against Auburn. Also, Tennessee played in the conference title game in 2018 when they fell to Kentucky. Cinderella time, Texas A&M. What's going on with the Aggies? We'll talk Texas A&M and a little bit more on this game in segment 2 as we continue on with this post-game podcast. That time of the year, guys, we're having so much fun talking March Madness, college basketball tournaments. They're here. Conference tournaments now. NCAA tournaments are next weekend. From all the latest odds, contests, and player props, BetOnline.net, your number one source for all your sports betting needs and information. BetOnline remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. It's not just basketball. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sponsoring, wagering information, those needs, including live betting, plus from your favorite Las Vegas casino games. Head on over to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and the action. BetOnline.net, it is where the game starts. We'll go back in here to this post-game edition of Tennessee's semifinal win in the SEC tournament over the Kentucky Wildcats. Tennessee takes down Kentucky 69-62. I was called Kentucky Kane the other day. I thought that was hilarious. I've never been accused of being a Kentucky fan. I've been accused of loving Lane Kiffin and being an Ole Miss fan. I've been accused of loving Tyler Beatty and being obsessed with him. Never been accused of being a Kentucky fan. I thought that was funny. 69-62, the final score. Kentucky finished the game 0 for its last 4 from the field. Tennessee was on a 3-14 scoring drought, but did have to end the game. But did have the last couple of free throws to kind of give its lead a little bit more. So, the Volunteers, again, just a monstrous win over your arch rival Kentucky on a big stage. So, here's the thing, though. Tennessee's not won a conference tournament title game since 1979. It said in the Open. Burt Bordelkamp said in segment number 1. Burt Bordelkamp was on that team. Tennessee's only won 4 SEC tournament title games ever. So, a great chance to not make history because it's happened before, but really improve on a stat that's not really great, if you know what I'm saying. So, we'll see what happens. Just fantastic work all around for Kennedy Chandler. He continues to show why he will be a first-round pick. I don't think he'll be a lottery pick, but I do believe he will be a first-round draft selection this summer in the upcoming draft. He just continues to pour it on in big-time situation, in big-time games. He's a great shooter. He drives to the rim. If he can improve his free throws, man, he'll be a fantastic player. A quick look over at Kentucky's stat line. So Wheeler finished with 10. Brooks played pretty well. He finished with 19 points and 5 rebounds, 7-11 from the field. Washington finished with 17 points and 6 rebounds and 4 assists, but he was 6 of 16 from the field. Wheeler finished with 10 points, 3 of 11 from the field, not that great. Sheboy, 13 points, 11 rebounds. It was a double-double, but he fouled out there with a couple minutes left, and he didn't look fantastic. He had a horrible first half, by the way. Lowest points in the season in the first half for Kentucky at 22. Lowest first half shooting percentage for the Wildcats in half number 1 at 27% overall. I mean, it got better as the game went on, don't get me wrong, but Tennessee out of the gate did a fantastic job of weathering the storm and shutting that down before it got started, right? 13 points again from Sheboy, and that's kind of all she wrote. So Tennessee handled business over its rival and has a chance to win the conference tournament title game for the first time since 1979. Also, with this win, I believe, we'll check Joe Lenardi's latest lines when they come out tonight, okay? I believe Tennessee has secured a number 2, a 3 seed at worst, right? If you win tomorrow, can you be a 2 seed? Let's see what happens with Duke later tonight. That resume looks awful for the Blue Devils. Let's see what else happens around the country tonight and who they lose to if they lose. But Tennessee's got an outside chance here of being a number 2 seed if you win tomorrow. 3 seed at worst, no matter what. You've locked up a 3 seed. I think you locked up a 3 seed last night with that win, no matter what. So we'll see. We'll see what's to come. Exciting times for the University of Tennessee. What about Texas A&M? Texas A&M took down Florida, weathered the storm for Florida coming back, beat them in overtime, took down top-ranked Auburn or top-seeded Auburn in the conference quarterfinals on Friday, and then took down Arkansas in the conference semifinals. So the top half of the bracket's nuts right now because the 10th-seeded Aggies of Texas A&M just continue to win. Will this be the year that Cinderella wins it all in the SEC tournament? We'll find out. Tennessee is the obvious, better team, quite frankly. And it's really not even close, but they're playing very, very, very well right now. Give them credit. You got Jackson that's playing awesome. He had 20 points today. That's Quentin Jackson. Really, really nice backcourt player. You got Henry Coleman. Henry Coleman III has scored 10 points against Arkansas today. Had 2 assists, had a couple of rebounds as well. Radford is a really nice player. He finished with 11 points today. He got 12 points from, I don't know how to say his name. Of course, I don't know how to say a lot of names. Hassan Daria is the one that hit the big 3-game winner against Florida. He had 12 points off the bench. Texas A&M playing really, really well. In the only other meeting this season between Tennessee and Texas A&M, the score was 90-80. Of course, Tennessee got that win, 90-80 inside Thompson-Boling Arena. Look at the team stats real quick. Tennessee shot 50%, shot the ball very, very well. Only attempted 26 three-pointers, so I thought that was great. 42%, made 11 of them. Tennessee won the rebounding battle 34-27. Tennessee had 16 offensive rebounds, which I thought was key. 22 assists for the Volunteers off 29 made baskets in that game against A&M. So that was kind of the recipe for a win. Only a 10-point win. Very high-scoring game. Not a very good defensive game for the University of Tennessee, as A&M scored 35 points in half number 1, 45 points in half number 2. Luckily, Tennessee scored 43 and 47 in that basketball game back in January. Look at the overall performers for the Volunteers. First, let's look at Texas A&M. The only player to score in double figures that was a starter for A&M was Radford with 11, but you got 19 off the bench from Taylor the fourth. You got 14 from Quentin Jackson, who didn't start this basketball game. You got 12 from Henry Coleman. Those 3 guys are starters now, or I don't know why they were on the bench. Maybe some injuries. I don't know the situation. I don't follow Texas A&M's team very well, but they came off the bench and scored big for A&M in that one. Look at Tennessee's box score. 4 of the 5 starters scored in double figures. You had 14 off the bench from Zakai Ziegler as well. This was when Olivier Cumwall was still playing, so that will be a factor moving forward. Tennessee, of course, knows how to play without him, but had him for the first go-around against A&M, won't have him this go-around. Olivier had 15 points and 7 rebounds, was really feeling himself right before his injury. It came soon after. You had 16 points from Kennedy Chandler, 5'11" shooting, 14 points from Josiah-Jordan James, and 8 rebounds, 13 points from Vescovy. He had 14 again from Zakai Ziegler. So Tennessee has already handled A&M one time this year. Can it do it again? The SEC tournament's title is on the line tomorrow. That game, I believe, will be at noon. We'll go ahead and check real quick. I believe that game is at noon, 1 o'clock. I'm looking up right now as I try to tap dance and fill some time. And my computer is being so slow, which is just fantastic. So tomorrow, the SEC tournament game will be at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock will be the game. So we will tune in and see if Tennessee can add on to its resume and maybe pick up a number 2 seed. But again, 69-62. I know you're feeling great. I know you're happy. It's Kentucky. Anytime you beat Kentucky, that's time to celebrate. But again, Pat Adams, you are a complete clown. Final score again here on a Saturday night. Tennessee takes down arch rival Kentucky 69-62. And that'll do it here for this postgame edition of Locked On Vols. Tune in tomorrow, win or lose. We will discuss Tennessee's appearance in the SEC tournament title game. Will they be cutting nets down for the SEC, or will it be a frustrating loss right ahead of the NCAA tournament? All that coming up tomorrow on a post-game edition of Locked On Vols following the conference tournament title game. I'm your host, Eric Kane. Thanks so much. We'll do it again. Enjoy this night, everybody. Stay safe, but congratulations. 62-69, the final score.